Huh. Weird. Hey, Brian?
Yeah!
Come look at this email Zamoody just sent me. Weird.
What am I looking at?
Hold up. Let me see. He wants me to buy 4 $200 eBay gift cards to give as thank you gifts. What?
That's a lot of money.
I mean, let me write him back and see if this is real.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Hey, Zamoody, do you think I'm made of money? Send. What? Hold up. Please send me a photo of the gift card and the special code on the back. This cannot be Zamoody.
I definitely don't think it's him.
Guys, Zamoody's email has clearly been hacked. What would a wizard want with eBay cards of that amount? Does he even know what eBay is?
I mean, he does know what TikTok is. He can't be that much of a boomer.
But apparently too much of a boomer for firewall and antivirus software. Jesus.
Isn't he usually good at not letting people pass?
Damn it, Brian.
Babe, the point is you need to be careful with emails, period. Especially if it's someone you don't know. If somebody's offering you a job, check them out and make sure their project is reputable.
I just remembered. Zamoody wanted to talk to us about that today on the podcast. Fuck, it's time for the podcast. I gotta put makeup on.
It's okay, it's okay. Renara Hawke, the road to Eldurrino, and Zamoody won't kill you for being late.
Can you buy some time for me while I do this?
Okay, I got it.
It's time for Cold Read the Podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Wow, okay.
That is brilliant.
That was great. All right, so let's do this right. Well, thank you to Pashley. Thank you for Brian for that wonderful, wonderful intro. If you didn't get the topic for today, we're going to talk about stuff to watch out for. So thank you for that. That's very awesome.
I'm sorry.
It's so there was a lot of planning. I'm assuming was this the first draft of the script or?
It was 1.75, I would say.
Nice.
But we had to make some adjustments because like Eldurrino, I DM'd him this morning and then he always adds something, and then when we listen back, we're like, oh wait, that needs to go there, and so we didn't do a full rewrite. Because if we'd had more time, maybe we would have. I was a more responsible individual.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not like you remembered yesterday at 11 o'clock at night that you had to do this, right?
But yeah, no, it had some revision to it, yes.
Okay.
From,
well, very
from the
cool.
initial script.
It was awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you to Brian, as always, or AKA B Liddy on Twitch. Check him out if he's ever streaming again.
Ever.
If he ever comes out of...
Ever.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome everybody. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully well. We will do our normal... How's that? We'll do our normal check-ins and see how everybody did this week. So, starting off as always on the other side of the world, Miss Renara Hawke, how are you?
Good, been quite productive to be quite honest.
Okay.
It's push time for Skywind now, so it's get your last bits in, everything like that now. So, because I've been on it for like the longest time now, they're kind of like, right, let's round it up now. So I've been doing that. I've got I did about 5 auditions this week,
Yay.
mostly all of them yesterday. I've been recording the chapters for The Assassin in the Desert now, so that is now in sort of full swing production, that end. And Grin has had the first vaccination, so we are on the up and up, which is good. So
Yay!
Been busy.
Yes,
He is currently sort of half dying in bed at the moment.
Yeah, that first
I
one is rough.
understand that.
Yeah. Also, I know congratulations is in order for Burnham, who secured a whole bunch of roles in this particular week. And the reason that I bring up Burnham now is because Burnham is also working in a project with...
Grim,
yes.
Yeah, both of them, yeah. Grim is voicing, I believe, the irony is Grim is actually Northern Irish, but got cast as the Englishman, so I found that quite funny.
Wow.
The irony.
Yeah, slightly.
Oh, that's
But
so... Yeah.
I hopefully I'm hoping that I get cast in it as well. Then we're all three of us in it, but obviously don't know. But you can always hope.
Yeah, well, absolutely. It'd be great to have everybody together. So
Thank you.
awesome. And yeah, Burnham, yeah, you're right in the chat. Congratulations. Let's check on a more local side. Pashley, how was your week?
Oh, it was a mixture of some really cool things with some really shit things. I swore on your stream, Dad. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
No, we've just my son will be going back hybrid next week. That'll loosen up a lot of my schedule and a lot of my stress and brain power. Because we determined 2 weeks ago that he needs to be supervised at all times when in school, and he can't be left to his own devices, literally. So it makes it difficult for Brian and I to work at the same time. But we got through it, and we're just really happy he's going to be going back next week. So,
yes.
Nice.
So hybrid means a couple hours.
So hybrid means 2 days a week, 2 days on campus, 2 days off campus. They have to accommodate spacing in classrooms. And then Mondays for sure are always asynchronous. They have synchronous and asynchronous time, and asynchronous means independent, not live class time. So it's confusing, stressful,
and it'll be an
heartbreaking
adjustment,
at times.
I'm sure.
It'll be a nice adjustment. But yeah, and we found out his bus stop is like unwalkable from where Luke's dad lives. So we're like, may as well drive him at that point, but we'll see.
Good. Did
Anyway,
you
that's my life.
Did you have any opportunity to do any auditioning? Hopefully.
I did one right before.
And
I dropped it in the
yeah, I have it. So you did one, so that's good.
I did one.
Hopefully as your schedule opens up, you'll have more opportunities. But we're happy to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Eldurrino, how was your week?
I did a lot, not a whole lot I'm gonna bore you with, but I just did a lot of life stuff. So for the past probably about 4 months or so, Meg, my girlfriend, and I have been doing our best to whittle down her credit card debt, which was at about $6,000. We have now pushed that down to $500.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow.
Which we will pay off this upcoming Friday on payday. So
Congratulations.
thanks.
What are you gonna buy?
That kind of leads me to the next point is we're starting to plan vacation.
Nice.
So
Yay.
So we've actually just been looking around at different like vacation spots and stuff like that because her birthday comes up in May and I want to take her somewhere nice and whatnot. We've just been busy just focusing on life stuff. I have been dealing with the kind of imposter syndrome stuff again. So my auditioning, whatever, has not been there throughout the entire week. And then Friday rolls around and I was like, all right, I'm mega to do homework. I was like, I'm going to jump in the booth, get stuff that I've been bookmarking throughout the week in, and, just go from there.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, my housemate has a new girlfriend and she is staying over for the weekend, and they are not quiet.
They're not shy.
Well, yeah, they like to sleep during the day and not sleep during my recording time, which is usually late at night because it's quiet outside and I don't have to worry about cars or planes and whatnot like I've been dealing with today. So so I didn't get I got one audition done today in the brief span of time in which there were no planes or cars going by my house. It's not super great. I did what I could. There's only one bit that I'm really kind of like about, just because it's a sound bite that I just don't know how to do properly. And once we get to it, I'm hoping you guys can give me some feedback and advice on that, because I would definitely appreciate it. Otherwise, today I have been trying to record sound bites for stream writers for Zamoody.
Yes, thank you.
I have done, well, I guess it'd be 20.
It's 21 now.
clips for all,
Yeah.
or it's 21. Okay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I didn't do War Beast. Damn. So if you can't tell by my voice is a little bit little raspy, a little gravelly, because almost all of them have a lot of energy, a lot of shouting. So yeah, I'm excited to send them over to you though, because at least a number of them I think are pretty hilarious, and I think you'll enjoy them.
Awesome.
As well as just working on some other sound bites for the stream, including a shout out for one of our friends, Cody Crisis.
Oh no.
One for Pashley, which I know she's gonna love. I did a little intro thing for myself just because I felt like it, and then the last one, as I mentioned before, this was is a secret, and yeah, I'm just gonna I'll let you listen to it once I send it over.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's all very awesome.
Yeah, so that's basically what I've done with my week. I have not even had a chance really to play games aside from Destiny yesterday, which I did with you guys. So.
Wreck that raid. Well, thank you. As for me, I recently got my first vaccine, so I'm halfway there. I've already got my appointment for the second one. I got Pfizer, if that absolutely matters. I also had a big bout of imposter syndrome this particular week, to the point where I didn't record anything on Tuesday. Didn't even work on my projects. So we all go through it. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. Best you can do is try to, I knew that if I actually sat in the booth, and my wife even said the same thing, it's just I would not have put out quality work. So I was okay with not doing it. And I talked about it a little bit on Twitter. So but yeah, other than that, I did do like a day's worth of voices.com. One of my auditions is actually from there. I didn't see an NDA on that one, so I'm happy to bring it up and see what you all think of it. But yeah, that's pretty much my week in a nutshell. Meg's what are you guys talking about down there? The topic for this particular week is an interesting one, because Ren brought up an email that we found out at least three of us here.
Yes.
I brought that up. Ren
yes. Eldurrino brought it up first, and then I went, this looks sketchy, screenshot. What's this? Because I didn't know it was the same one. And then Zamoody was like, FYI, I have this too. So Grim thinks whoever this person was found our stream, and then just kind of basically went,
right.
Okay, so there's still one of them. Pashley, yours is incoming.
So Pashley, I don't know if you got this particular one too. No. So it basically talks about like YouTube and growth, and hey, do you want to do reviews and stuff?
It's one of those ones where it's like, I think Jacksepticeye and Markiplier were part of one of these before, where like you're part of a company that commission things and they kind of like basically take money from you. You barely get paid, but you're still making content, sort of thing. It's one of those things, and I wasn't sure because I was like, I've heard horror stories, guys. What do we do about this? What is this?
Yeah.
So, I think a general rule to live by is if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
100%. Yes. And this is one thing that you want to be careful of. So like I mentioned, always watch your emails when it comes to, because I post stuff on Fiverr too. And you get a lot of direct messaging on Fiverr that basically says, hey, check out this link. We want to talk about it. And then Fiverr immediately, thankfully, flags it and says, is this spam? I'm smart enough to know. Oh yeah, thank you so much. I'm smart enough to know not to click on that particular link, because as soon as you click on those links, and that's how they get you. So if you're ever on Fiverr, don't click on those Google Docs. So definitely something to watch out for. Now, as far as this MLM goes, it looks fairly legit, and I know you looked into it a little bit, Dorino.
I did, yeah. So in this particular email, they talk about coming across your YouTube channel and wondering if you wanted to do product reviews for them to grow your channel as part of an influencer campaign. They link their website, which I did check out. It actually does appear legitimate, which is surprising. I was kind of expecting it to be some type of shady, like keylogger or something like that.
Mhm.
They also sent an introduction video that kind of talks about what they do and how you turn that to benefit yourself. The weird thing I found about it is that whilst their introduction video has about 100,000 views on it, their YouTube subscriber count is only at 1.8 thousand. Most of their videos have less than 100 views per video. And their channel has been active for 4 years, which is strange. Like, it started pretty low budget at first, and obviously as time went on, the production value increased. But all of those things kind of set me in a weird state, because I would think if a company is trying to make money off of you and then help you turn it around well, they would have a bigger following. Or they would show bigger numbers than what was being seen. Not only that, but the email in which I received this is one that I specifically have for voice acting. I put it on my auditions. I put it on this stream, obviously, and that's it. Like, I don't put it anywhere else. And it came directly to that email. And so I'm like, the only place I could think of that they would have grabbed it from is from the videos that are uploaded from this stream to YouTube. And then, so I posted about it to you guys, and I said, hey, has anybody else received this email? Because it does seem a little suspicious. And then sure enough, Renara responds a few days later saying she just got the same one. Zamoody then says he got it a couple of times. So I realized from there on, like, it was pretty odd. And I get it. These type of companies tend to prey on newcomers, essentially, to YouTube or to Twitch or whatnot, because they think that you don't know what you're doing, and sometimes they are right. You don't know what exactly to do when you're presented with that offer, and so you think, oh, this is great. This means I'll get more views and I'll get more ad revenue and yada yada yada. But in actuality, you're actually losing money because you're paying for products,
you get stuck,
sell it, and then you lose money on it.
Well, the ethical lapse behind MLMs. I'm going to have just a 5-minute rant. MLMs are like banned everywhere else in the world except for the United States. The MLM business structure is to recruit more buyers, because you can't collect your commission unless you spend X amount of money a month. They're completely unethical. So I had a very, very bad experience with one. So I don't I speak out about it all the time, and I just, like, don't even involve yourself with it. You're better off getting temp jobs to, consulting a temp agency if you're really, really down and out, or, there's really no get rich quick in any kind of social media and any kind of streaming content creation. It is a slow burn. So avoid that if at all possible, if you can. It's just not, because you want the audience to be engaged, because then, like, what happens when you leave the MLM?
Anyway. I think recently, because I saw a video, I think it was about Avon or something, that you can only go like 13 times. Once you get to the 11th or 12th spot, you run out of people. You just have nobody to offer it to. Everybody's either heard of it or nobody wants to do it. So by the time you're at that rung of the pyramid, you're going to lose money on it. So definitely something to watch out for.
I mean, is it? Don't worry. No. I was just going to say, well, is it worth us saying the name or?
No, because that would just be giving them publicity in one way or another, even if it's I would much rather not.
I just wanted to say it because I think I've been thinking it, so
so
go ahead.
The thing I found a little bit weird about this was the fact that like the YouTube channel for Cold Read is fairly new. Subscriber count fairly low, view count fairly low. Why would they send an email to us about this? Like, generally speaking, you think they would look for someone that already has an established following. And this is something I thought right off the bat. I was like, why would they want me of all people?
Because I thought it was to do with, because when they said came across your YouTube channel. I thought they were talking about my actual YouTube channel because I run one. So I thought they'd gotten that link from the podcast and went to see my channel and said that. But the product reviews thing is like, why would they ask me to do? That's not what we do. If you know what I mean. It's like something. It didn't match up in that regard for me. I was just sort of like, it's not the sorts of things I do. So why? What?
Well, and what I was going to say before is that like I don't have a big social media presence currently. Like my Twitter is my personal Twitter. I don't really use it for any type of business. I only put that email out to voice acting things. So it seems kind of strange that they would send it to us in particular, just because of like we don't have a huge following currently. But then that led me to believe that they probably use bots. Because there are bots that can go out through YouTube, check descriptions, look for email addresses, and then immediately just send a copy paste template or whatever to those people. So I'm guessing that's probably what's happening in this instance, seeing as how each email that we got was the exact same, which isn't out of the ordinary. You know, when you're trying to recruit people, you generally have a template. They just slam in there and send it off. But like I said, I'm imagining it's probably some type of bot that just sniffs out, email addresses and then just shoots off.
And I think Pashley put it best. If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
I have so many angry feelings from things like this.
Right. And in all honesty, Pash, you probably do have an email on it, but your spam probably picked it up and just threw it out, which is good.
I could go look right now, in fact, but anyway.
Yeah.
Continue.
Well, I mean, even applying this particular one, because I think in this particular case, we're all in agreement that, I mean, this is obviously something that we would have to be careful of. So as you're putting out your email in CCC or even in Twitter, you're going to start seeing these things. And there's people out there that prey on not only those that are maybe not as well informed as maybe we are, because we're a little bit more familiar with the area, but also those that want to be famous ASAP. So you're going to run into those. And the best things to watch out for is, if they want you to buy something, don't do it.
Don't buy it. Don't do it.
100%. And this also, when it comes, because coaching is very important. Like Pashley's the vocal coach. You don't ask us to buy XYZ products or XYZ book that are made by you, which is always a good sign. And we, most of us here see that you have that background and have watched you in Twitch things and notice that you do vocal development. So you've got great references.
Yeah.
So that's number 2 when it comes, if you're looking for somebody to help you with something, check their references.
It's like with any normal job you apply for, they always ask for at least 2 references. So yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for them. Don't be intimidated by somebody with hurt feelings by you saying, hey, can you give me some examples of people that you've worked with that have done well? Because you're always going to find those people that are voice acting coaches that I'll say, yeah, we've made people, we've gotten people work and everything else. Don't be afraid to say who.
Right.
Yeah.
The final thing that I would be very careful of when it comes to finding a coach or going through a class, if the class ends with creating a demo, it's a big red flag.
Oh.
Didn't know that.
Yes, because it's generally something that they want to sell you more towards the end, and they're going to do add-ons and everything to that effect. So if when you go through a class, and I've heard this in other podcasts, and I've also read it in some of the books that I've done, is you really, really want to be careful with those. Because the real demos are going to either come from the ones that you make or are going to be the ones that are professionally done, and they're not going to run you $100, $200, $300. Yeah. These are thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Or just learn the sound engineering software yourself.
Which is what most of us do.
When in doubt, learn it yourself if you can.
100%.
Save you some money.
So those are my tips when it comes to don't get swindled when it comes to the voice acting stuff from what I've picked up.
I would just my normal procedure when I get these would be just in the sense of just throw it away just throw it, because I mean, because I went to film school and things like that, and I would get spam emails which you could really obviously tell was sort of spam. It's aimed at students, but this one was the one that threw me off, because it was just sort of like, it's been so long since I liked one, so it was kind of like, hang on a second, wait. But usually it's just the case of, yeah, if you can set your spam thing to get rid of them, that's easier, because then you don't even have to look at them. But it's, yeah, because I'm looking at this, and I'm also looking at this. It says via something I've never seen, AmazonSES.com. I don't know whether that's something else, but I've never seen that before.
That is a domain that somebody has purchased.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, because Amazon has their own website hosting service.
Okay, it's just, again, like I'm picking through it and going, there's too many things in here that I don't recognize in a normal email, so I'm kind of just sort of going, you normally do get those things of like, your intuition's there, because we've all grown up in a world where it's be careful with on the online and on the internet. So there are, but just listen in your computing classes, kids, because they do that. They do cover that.
I do want to add to that as well that when it comes to investing in yourself, if you're starting your own business or you are trying to get into voice acting, make sure you actually are purchasing something that is going to benefit you right away. In Pashley's instance, say I want to sign up for voice lessons with her. Her product is her teachings. It's something that I can apply immediately. It's not something that I have to receive and then do something else with it in order to make a profit, you know? That doesn't apply to everything. For instance, one of my previous jobs was working in a warehouse that bought and resold server equipment. They would go to companies that are upgrading to newer systems. They have nothing to do with their old ones, so they sell them for relatively cheap. And then that company would then turn around and resell them for a profit to companies who need parts out of those machines. That kind of stuff works. However, in this instance, with this email, it's a company that isn't necessarily looking for you to sell their products. They're looking to get more people to sell their products or to give them money, you know? So if you ever come across anything that says, you know, hey, we'll send you these products and you have to encourage people to buy them, but also the only way you get a payout is if you get 5 of your friends to sign up for us as well. That is a huge red flag. And
that is, it's a modified pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it's an MLM.
Right. And you know, I just thought of something actually that I went to a wine tasting party a few months ago, and it was good. Like it was a lot of fun. But at the very end, she said, you know, I encourage you guys to try this out for yourself, start hosting your own wine tasting parties, you know. Here's the pamphlet of all the information you need to sign up. And at least 3 of those people decided to sign up. And I was like, that seems a little suspicious.
Right.
But I mean, people are going to do what they want. So.
Congratulations, you're now in a pyramid scheme.
Yep.
You have been drawn in.
And you know what's really sad? The wine wasn't even that good.
Ooh.
It was okay. Some of them were okay, but a lot of them were just kind of like,
The other thing I think a voice actor really needs to watch out for is people taking advantage. For those of you that are new, that are going to start out, you're going to run into a lot of directors that just don't know where the limit is. So, real quick before I go into this point, I see Kaito says, sign up for these voice lessons, but first buy some gift cards for Google Play Store. With this money, I'm going to transfer you. Nice. What's going to happen is people are going to not be, I don't want to say this. After you've turned in your work, there's a point where the director is going to say, thank you so much.
Yeah.
If they turn around 2 months later and say, hey, I need a redo for this, don't be afraid to challenge the request. Don't be afraid to request for compensation for those requests. Because once the work is done, there is a line. Like, for example, in voices.com, you're asked what your policy is on that particular ones. I offer 3 free ones, and then after that, I charge $20 for each redo, unless it was my fault. So don't be afraid to set those ground rules from the beginning, because people will be apt to try to take advantage of somebody who's new or somebody who's very excited to try to get something done. And those are bad habits for directors to have. So that's my TED Talk on that.
This kind of applies to jobs too, right? Like you guys told me, like, don't go for the Minecraft jobs.
Yes.
I think I was doing that stream the one time. You're like, if it says Minecraft and it's like 90% of Cast and Call Club is the Minecraft voice acting.
Yeah. Well, granted, a number of those casting calls are free. Some of them offer to be paid, but a lot of those are like live action improv stuff. And so, granted, I love doing that personally because I love doing like role playing stuff, but it's not something that I feel like would pay it, or I don't think it would be to my benefit to partake in, for the simple matter that I imagine a lot of the people that post that stuff on there are either children or teenagers, and they may not actually have that money, and they just simply put it up there. Like I was saying before, I don't remember if I mentioned this on the podcast, but there was one that I came across that had something to do with Five Nights at Freddy's, and the main role was being offered at an $8 million payout. I was like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I really wish Casting Call Club had a report feature, but you know, that's for another talk. But yeah, so when it comes to that stuff, you really need to watch out for shady stuff like that. You know, and the Minecraft ones especially, or even the gacha ones, do offer low payouts. So you're thinking like, oh, this, you know, may be worth my time. You know, if it's just a couple of lines, they're often offering $5, you know, that's whatever. But the more you do it, the more it's going to add up. And so you're basically just wasting time instead of applying it to other roles that pay more and would be more worth it, you know?
Burnham said a good thing as well, in the sense of they probably put $1 in order to just sort of get it noticed better. In the sense.
Well, for example, really when I'm looking through CCC, I do only look at paid roles. I've got enough projects as it is, and yeah, putting it as $1 will put it on that list for me to be able to see. Now I know $1 generally means like I'm gonna do an hour and a half worth of work for $1. It's not gonna be worth it for me, because it's not just about the recording, it's about the editing and being able to turn it in. So also, and that's gonna have to be a topic for one days. We have to figure out what our time is worth, because that's always a big one. That's a hard one for me. I think we all struggle here with it. There goes my dog.
There's a deep-seated part of me in me that it keeps going, I'm no way good enough to be paid currently, sort of thing. So I'm always
don't
kind of
sell yourself short, Renara.
I know. It's literally my hardest thing that I have to get over, because I mean, I've been burned so many times because I read social cues really badly. I can read people really badly, so I can't tell whether or not someone might be sarcastic, might not be. So it puts me in a vulnerable position. So that's why I have Grim kind of go have a second opinion of what. So I've had people. I mean, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast already, but I mean, I've had someone approach me who was on the Skyrim crew saying, can we look, I've heard your stuff, could you do this for this other guy who's doing another project? And so I spent a while doing loads of lines and stuff, and I still haven't heard back from them. So it's kind of just sort of yay.
Well, see, in that instance, I would reach out first and just say, hey, I'm interested in doing these lines for you. Can we talk about it? As opposed to just recording the lines and then sending them in and say, hey, I did this for you. Yeah. You know, can you pay me?
You don't give them the product first.
It was literally the second thing I ever did. I did like second voice thing I ever did. So it was kind of just sort of really noob starting out, not really understanding and stuff. But because I mean, I think it was the Reddit thing Zamoody sent, and I was reading through it, and it's like, when do you know you're good enough? And there was that section in there, and I was just sort of there going, that's really true, because I think it talks about it was a while ago. It talks about how when you get feedback, people start to give you minimal direction, minimal these things and whatnot, and that's so subjective. So to me, it's kind of like, I don't know,
right?
Sort of thing. So I would like to hear your guys' take on how much, quantifiably, what is worth what, because I can't put a price on me.
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, this would be a good one to definitely talk about in the future, because this is something that we're gonna have to really research, because we have to be careful what we put out there, and that's the other side of things of when you're recording stuff, you really do have to be careful what you are putting out in the world, because you never know when it's gonna pop up again. So
True.
something definitely to consider. Anybody else have an instance that they can think of that they want to warn other people when it comes to voice acting or voice production for the group? Fair enough.
No, I think I know. I think personally, like the two main things is like any offers that are presented to you, do your research on them absolutely before you even think about sending in a response, because there is a lot of shady people out there that will try to take advantage of you. So you really need to make sure you know what you're getting into. If you're at that point and you can afford it, if it is actually a bigger project, with money involved, a substantial amount of money, don't be afraid to get someone involved legally. It never hurts to have someone to read over contracts for you and break it down. This is something actually my boss was talking to me about, because I've told him about my interest in voice acting, and he's told me if I want to start a business, sign up for or make your voice acting into an LLC, so you can protect yourself essentially, and don't ever be afraid to seek legal help if you're being asked to sign a contract for something. Because there's some stuff in there that basically says, like, if you sign your name on this paper, we own you and you cannot escape it. And you don't want to have to fight a huge legal battle later on down the road. And then the other thing I was going to say is that for certain casting calls, make sure you read everything thoroughly, not just the information about the audition itself or the characters or the project, but the compensation for it. Because some people will claim, they'll give you like $2 per word or $5 per word or something like that. And that's not always the case. There might be little nuances to it that you want to be paying attention for. Also, don't accept any offers that offer $8 million for a 5 Nights at Freddy's project.
Right, because you do have to watch out for that. Magmorta says, be ready when you get to a certain age and they'll tell you aren't doing this character anymore. Happened to Peter Cullen, who voiced Eeyore for decades. You can fall out of your niche. You have to be you have to be aware of when that is not fitting what you're trying to put out there anymore. Just be mindful and try to find a new one. Absolutely. But yeah, I love all the points. Thank you so much, everybody. I think that will hopefully help somebody, whoever listens to this in the future. So we're going to move on. We're going to do our auditions. We're going to listen to what we're bringing forward for this particular week. And I know a lot of us didn't get much of an opportunity to do much. But with that in mind, let's see who I've got first. Dorino. You come up first.
Me.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to listen to it, and then if you want to talk about the character afterwards, feel free. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. Don't do that. You is a play stop. There you go. So, obviously, I need to bring up the volume. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The wings of death unfurl. The wings of death unfurl. Should have done better. Should have done better. You've earned that blood. You've earned that blood. What?
Okay.
Is that an audition for Warcraft 2?
So, okay, so let me break it down. The first 2 takes says critical attack for, just a line of whatever whenever you deliver a critical blow. Second 2 takes were disappointed which I'm assuming is from like failing to attack or missing or something. Third set of takes is when you're injured by a foe, and then the last bits in order were laughter. Imagine that. The other ones were irritation, and then the last one, which I really struggle with, and I definitely want your guys' feedback on, is surprise. I'm not too familiar on how to do a surprised bite without making any words. Like I put in the what thing in there, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing to do.
I am literally scouring my Skywind script to find the ones they asked me to do, because they give you. Oh, where is it? I will do me last. I'm going to see if I can find this.
Okay, no problem. I know I've got a dubbing project that's going on the side, and I've had this conversation actually with that particular director, because there's little nuances to the character that you've got to watch out for when you've got to listen to the other side, and for the shocked and everything else, it's always been the start low, go high, ha type of situation, or what. But yeah, the throwing the what in there usually does help a little bit more. I see what you mean when it comes to it's hard to capture because you have to see how the scene goes. If you don't have that information, it's really hard to react to what else is going on there. I like the way that it came forward. I can see that you were trying to force it a little bit. So maybe we need it like the genuine level, I guess. I didn't appear for it to be for me. Let me see if I can replay it. Just that part. If not,
it depends on the context. What context did it just say surprised, or did it have any other bits and pieces for the context?
Because this is for a video game, right?
It just says effort sounds for laughter, irritation, surprise.
Okay, because it could be you're being jumped by someone, so in a sense of like, oh,
right.
It could be being surprise jumps. It could also I went if it's because it sounds like those are they're attack baselines basically. So when I did mine for Skywind, I was always imagining I'm engaged with someone and someone's flanking me or someone's attacking me. It's like sort of like things like that. So I think for those sorts of things, if you can picture something in your mind and again act it out, I think you're more likely to get your body to push that naturally rather than trying to think about it. Because when it comes to sort of attack lines, those I always what's the word? What's the word? I say to always do act it out as best you can, because there are some things that naturally you just do, your body does for you if you do it, sort of thing.
Right.
And that's exactly it. I think it's because it's more of a thought than a reaction that it's hard to capture and hard to do.
Yeah.
And but it can come from an organic place.
Yeah.
Stationary, like you can capture it. I don't know.
Have Meg scare you while she's filming it and then see what you come up with. I think that would be a good starting point.
No, so I have done this a couple of times because this is the second casting call that they've done. I did apply for the first one as well, for 2 characters. And the same instance, they wanted laughter, irritation, surprise. Every time that I've done it, I've always thought about like being surprised with information as opposed to being surprised physically, like like being flanked by someone or someone jumping out of the bushes, whatever. So that's why I usually kind of go almost like Tim Allen-ish.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Burnham said that in chat.
You know, so I'm always like, or what? You know.
Yeah.
And so that's really good to know or to think about, because I do want to do another character for this. So it would be a good idea to think about, you know,
because you could also do surprise to see a body, or like you've just walked onto something. Think of different scenarios, and that itself will help you come up with different sounds. I think.
Right.
Yeah, the informational surprise versus the physical surprise versus the emotional surprise. Yeah, those are very good points.
Yeah, and like I think one of the takes I did was just more of a gasp, you know, kind of like, you know, finding a body, but that's something I really need to work on. I feel like it's not where I want it to be because it's really breathy, you know, and I feel like there should be more tone to it as opposed to just a, you know. So I don't know. That like I said, that's one thing I really need to start working on. I have it written down so I can work on it going forward. But yeah, no, I appreciate the feedback and the advice on that.
I would see what your and honestly, yeah, what your genuine reaction is to something, and if it takes Meg's jumping out at you, it might help you.
No, usually I don't make any sound. I kind of jump and then I stare at her for about 5 seconds, and I'm like, "You got 5 seconds to run."
Fair enough.
Kinky.
Kidding. I love you, Meg.
Oh God.
All right. Thank you. Let's see who I've got next here. Pashley. Ready?
No.
Too bad. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Because all of these other kids are not like you, Jude. They are blessed. They do their best. You don't have any of the gifts they do. What do? Daydream about being Starstream all the time. Because all of these other kids are not like you, Jude. They are blessed. They do their best. You don't have any of the gifts they do. What do? Daydream about being Starstream all the time. Because
I did 3 of each of
all
the
of these
lines
other
in one.
kids are not like you, Jude. They are blessed. They do their best. You don't have any of the gifts they do. What do? Daydream about being Starstream all the time. My baby! Get away, you little bitch! Get your damn hands away! My baby! Get away, you little bitch! Get your damn hands away! My baby! Get away, you little bitch! Get your damn hands away! Okay, kids, we are going to be reviewing some vocabulary words. Open up to page 39, and we will begin reading the first paragraph. Okay, kids, we are going to be reviewing some vocabulary words. Open up to page 39, and we will begin reading the first paragraph. Okay, kids, we're going to be reviewing some vocabulary words. Open up to page 39, and we will begin reading the first paragraph. Anybody get the Office Space?
What was that?
Do you get the Office Space reference? Constable Belina speaking. Just a moment.
I appreciated and this has always been a big thing. The breathing acting, I heard it. So you're experimenting with that, and I absolutely appreciate you doing that. I'm looking.
Hey.
I did post the CCC, so if anybody wants to see it in chat, it's right over there. So we're looking at. It looks like it's extras.
Yeah, it's like a smattering of characters.
Yeah.
I feel like the first and second lines should have been posted next to one another, and then that second line should have been last, because it seems like it's actually in the directions. This is the bully turning around and being nice to the rest of the class.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing it in sequence, it would be nice to hear those lines next to one another.
Mm-hmm.
But I read those lines and they feel very there's something emotionally, there's a big connection there. So that, like, teacher is fucking with my kid. So that's why I went for that one.
It's good. I will make a couple notes. Well, mostly on and the technical side is it makes me think about it. It sounded to me like you did all 3 of them in a row without stopping in between. Don't be afraid to do a couple of takes and then, like, stop, think about it for a second, and then go for it again. And it kind of resets.
I did good editing, though.
What's that?
That means I did good editing, because I did in fact have to take a
Really?
couple, yeah.
Oh, I'm impressed. That was really
Get on
good
my
editing.
level.
Oh, the sound producer has got me. Nice.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. There was a lot of similarities, so don't be afraid that when you're doing a different take, emphasize a different word. Go in a different direction. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody to surprise them in a way that maybe they didn't think about. So I'll leave those as my ones. And yeah, wow, very good. You're gonna have to show me how to do that, Master, when it comes to sound editing.
For the first side, I feel like you could have really rolled with that and been real bitchy. I feel like you were kind of holding back, and you understood that you were speaking to a kid, but like based on the description, anyways, like it says aside from being a complete and major bitch, I feel like you could have really like honed in on certain things, like they are blessed. They do their best. You don't have any of the gifts they do. What do you do? Just really hone in on those certain words just to make them like belittle them essentially. And
really channel your inner bitchy teenager. Go back to high school and imagine someone you hate.
Well, I think it's an interesting thing. Like it's almost like a dog whistling approach that I was using with this, like someone who would like punch without leaving a you know what I mean? Like they would not leave a black eye, but it would still hurt. So that was kind of, it became a little more layered because I think a teacher would want some kind of like cover for themselves. But I mean, this is a voice acting thing. This is not me trying to abuse a child, right? So,
right, of course.
It needs to be more extroverted than that.
Yeah. And you can experiment with that as you're recording too. Like you can do one that is a bit more reserved and, kind of maintaining that elementary school teacher status, and then do another take where you're just a complete and utter awful person,
I just had a thought, that monologue from Devil Wears Prada with Meryl Streep, and she's talking about the stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen that. I think I read that monologue a couple.
You did?
Yeah, it's that level.
Yes.
It's that level of like condescension where you're like, oh shit, but she's not like. It's very light-handed, but it really leaves an impact. But anyway, we're getting too much into it. I'm getting too much into it.
No, you're fine.
The second side, I did want to say a lot more energy would have been good there. Like it says that she channels monstrous strength and accidentally tossing her too far up or whatever. Like, and it sounds like someone's trying to take care of the person she's looking after, and you're just like, she's all mine. I don't get your hands off of her, so just a bit more energy there. Like, get away, you little bitch, I feel like that would have really brought that more to life.
If you feel that you're doing 100%, go 120%, and then I think you'll get there. Because sometimes when you're doing when you do voice stuff, and because I think I had this for my French one that I've done recently, in the sense of words aren't working today. This is terrible. My brain's just doing that. Never mind.
I'm sorry,
Ignore that. My brain's just doing that. So no, it will come back, and I'll probably splurt it right at the end or something. But I've forgotten now. So
okay, no problem. But yeah, keep up the good work, Pashley. I'm seeing good things, so definitely keep it up. All right. I'm gonna put mine. Mine is next. So yeah, I'm just gonna play it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You want to work with me? Bring something to the table. A grain of sand can't escape the whirlwind. The weak look back, the strong forward. Behold, this is real power. Perhaps a decent puppet. Oh! Ha!
So quick there, and last ones are action lines. This is for a video game. The personality is overbearing, bold, and big boss. That's basically what they gave me to work with. But yeah, welcome any input.
Is there any more to the
sounds it.
character description?
32-year-old CEO, cold and domineering position, very ambitious man, acts to pursue his own gain to others' expense, has a low voice that contains an ominous sense of plotting something.
I think it needs to be a bit more snidey.
Okay.
I think you've got the gravitas and the thunderous bit down, but I think for that plotting part, I think it needs to have that underlying sinister just thread, and I think that's slightly missing. I think.
Nice, love it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say as well. Just a little bit more like villain-ish to
like
it.
just little bits at the end, sort of like like just like the small little smile at the corner of your mouth when you end sort of saying something.
Yes, get the twirls going on your mustache. No, I mean, I feel like what you put forth actually was really good.
Yeah, it fit it from what you described, and that's just an added extra. Yeah.
Right. What Renara was saying is like the gravitas is there, and I could definitely imagine that in a very like dark role. But yeah, just maybe I don't know what the best advice there would be to bring out the sinister attitude a bit more.
Yeah,
I think it depends on context. I think if the lines have a bit more context in it, I think that is what helps to the, because it's subtext at that point. It's to get you in the mindset of being able to do that small little bit of subtext. And if it's not there, then like if they don't supply that, it is tricky to implement it. So
yeah,
I feel like the best advice I could give for that in particular, and I use this a lot for villain roles, is grin or smile. That helps me with really getting into that mindset of like, oh, I'm a bad guy, I'm gonna do bad things, you know. So yeah, I think just like, you know, just saying like delivering the lines with just a little bit of a smile on your face helps you kind of remember that you're not a good person at heart. Not you personally, but the character.
Right.
I was thinking him, but
well, you could do, because you could do some sort of maniacal laughter to begin with, and it'll get you into that grinning stage, and like overdo it before you record, and then that'll get you situated and seated in that vibe, and then you can play off of it from there, sort of thing. So playing off of what Eldurrino just said, right way pointing.
I like that. I like overdo it before you start recording. That's actually really, really good advice. Thank you. Burnham said I was just about to suggest a maniacal grin. Yeah. Thank you.
Can we get a strategic zoom in on a maniacal grin right now? Can we see it?
I think somebody can.
Ready?
Well, you can't see it over there. You can see it over there.
That was a haggard smile.
That looked like I just farted smile.
And I got away with it, though.
The fart, you're really happy.
I got away with it, though. Anyway. All right. Thank you so much. Love the input. I appreciate it. I want to try to get to both of these before we have to sign off. So this is going to be the Renara. This is the French accent, I believe. So
I need a disclaimer. First time of me trying to do a French accent since a long time. So I'd like people's input on how possibly awful this might be.
Oh yeah. I'm okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I am listening. They call me a monster. Shall I prove them correct? They call me a monster. Shall I prove them correct? What am I drinking? That doesn't concern you now, does it? What am I drinking? That doesn't concern you now, does it?
That's the end of that clip.
Sounds bad, but that's just me, because Imposter Syndrome, yeah.
Okay.
It sounds bad, I know.
Well, and it is, again, it's hard for me to critique because I already know I'm terrible at it. I can't even do a Mexican accent, and I'm Hispanic. So to me, it sounded a little more European than it did French.
Okay. So I hit the continent, but not the country, right?
Burnham says having similar issues with his French. It sounds more German. Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense.
Because the R's, I think that's where it's really going to stand out, because both the R's are pronounced in the back of your throat off of your soft palate a bit.
Yeah.
And that would be the most important place to distinguish because the American and British R's are super different. So I like that decision to take that. But no, I'm trying to think of things because like I know a French pronunciation, but it's hard to apply that to like to
English.
An English accent rather than an American accent. Yeah.
Right, applying it to the English language, but like I think that would be like the R is a good place to start.
Okay.
Burnham says
Z. Okay.
You want to go Z a lot, but that can also sound German. Yeah,
because I have trouble. I slip into Transylvanian whenever, or like the classic Dracula whenever I tried to do a French accent before. So it was kind of just sort of like because I tried. It was the first time for a while, so I thought, hey, and just for anyone else out there who's thinking about doing accents, just give it a go, even if it sounds terrible, like I just did.
Oh, and we're not going to say it sounds terrible. It's just we're saying because Pashley, you linked the dialects, or you talked about the dialects a couple of times.
Well,
Did you have?
It was the IPA.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to listen to anybody doing that particular voice before you jumped in, Ren, or did you just?
No.
Okay.
I sort of I tried to think back to when I did GCSE French and went, how does that sound? I then sort of like tried to listen to Spy from TF2, tried to get that, and then I just sort of ended up getting. Like I got the sort of stuck at the back of my throat thing down for the last two lines. So I was just sort of like, right, I'm going to go with that and then have that as a base and try and do some acting around that because it was kind of like it came to a point where I was just trying to do an accent and no emotion was coming through. So I was like, right, I'm going to have to sacrifice some bits for other parts here. So what can I do well? What can I not? And then I just tried.
Right. So I used to live in Quebec for about 5 months. I have been around French-speaking people for a fair amount of time. The one bit of advice I want to impart to you is that there are certain syllables in the French language which are in the back of the throat. The R's in particular, the C's are also kind of in the back of the throat a little bit, but for most of everything else, it's actually on the tip of the tongue. French, as opposed to German, is a very fluid language. You'll when you are around people who are speaking natural French, you'll note that everything just flows together really smoothly. So I feel like if you kind of if you just think about all of your words as being right on your teeth, like the whole time, with the exception of certain syllables, which you'll get experience with, I think that will really help bring it out and help you develop that accent a bit more. I mean, really, it's all going to come down to either just listening to someone speaking natural French and trying to copy it in a sense, or going to somebody who knows more about it than I do, such as Pashley.
Well, the French wrinkle here because their lip position is usually here. And if you see someone speaking French, it's usually, this is an exaggeration, like a Donald Trump kind of a face.
For those of you that can't see it.
That's where it usually, and there's also kind of a note about phrasing. And what I mean phrasing is like, where is the sentence leading? In English and German, we have kind of this like up, down, I don't know, iambic pentameter kind of phrase, whereas the French, and you can hear it in French music too, it always leads to the end of the sentence. So you say the sentence, I woke up at 8 a.m. and I had a -8. Like it just always, So but as someone, we would just say, oh, I woke up at 8 a.m. and I made myself scrambled eggs. Like, it's you have to think about that too, because that will always influence how that person would speak English. So.
Thank you. And that is all helpful stuff.
And then I saw it. Thank you for posting it. The IPA chart, which is the International Phonetic Alphabet, that was posted in chat. I will try to make sure to post it in the description for this too, please. I would say yes. Listen to YouTube. Listen to people. There's a lot of people that put it up there. Be careful not to turn into a cartoon when you're doing it, or an exaggeration. You should be good.
Thank you.
Your next one, I think, is a short one too, right?
Yes. I had so much fun. I just had fun doing this one, and I quite like it.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
Why do I have to see your face every day? Hey! How dare you speak to my master in such a disrespectful manner? I guess you can call me Ronnie.
Okay.
So that was for a sidekick, sort of hamster chipmunk type sidekick who is constantly jealous over their buddy sort of thing, and like it was just it was one that I sort of threw in and went, I'm gonna give it a go, try it. I really enjoyed doing it. So yeah.
Did you manipulate the file in any way, or was that just your natural voice?
Why do I have to see your face every day?
I'd say that's a pretty stereotypical sidekick-ish, especially like from like if it's like an 80s styles or something. I would hear that particular voice a lot. I remember hearing it when I was growing up. So well done. I like that one.
Yay!
Hey.
I actually don't have any critiques for that one. I think the tone was pretty well matched to the character, as well as I see you're working on your American accent. I noticed that the R's were not so hard this time, which
it's strange. The higher I go, the easier it is. Like that over-exaggerated, it's quite easy to do. Like that, it makes it easier to do that, if you know what I mean, rather than at my natural register, which I have to overdo in order to. But it was really strange. Yeah, thank you. Yay.
and that is that's something I noticed as well, because I have been attempting to work on my British. And I noticed that it's easier for me to do it in my lower register, which is closer to my natural speaking voice, as opposed to doing something higher up. I know that's not really the same way for you, because you have a bit of a lower tone to your voice, and you're doing a higher pitched one here. So
I think there is similarities in that. I think with the I grew up watching like Winx Club and all of these things, and so for like shout out for Jenna. Totally Spies as well was one of my favorites. And all you would hear high pitched, squeaky American voices. So I think that's why it's easier for me, because that's what I listened to growing up and practiced when I was a kid. So I think that's where it goes. Because shutting up now. I'm going on a tangent.
You're fine. Gosh,
I'm having a weird day today, guys.
You're fine. Well, with that, I will I think that's all of ours. Thank you so much, everybody, here for being around while we're doing this. So we've heard Renara's continuation of the story. We've heard Pashley's roasting of Zamoody. Eldurrino, you or I, who wants to do the next one?
Who did it before Renara?
I did.
Okay, I guess it's my turn.
I jumped ahead of you on one, and I don't know if you wanted to keep the same order, or I've got no problem doing it one more time.
Hang on. So I did Valentine's, which means it was Renara was on the 28th. You were on the 21st. Yeah, so it is my turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I look forward to hearing that. And again, if you need any, I know Ravenmane was interested in helping out, so don't forget to reach out for help there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think we covered a lot of good information. I hope everybody understands. Again, we're not professionals. We don't claim to be professionals. This is our experience, and we hope that us sharing this will help people watch out for those pitfalls and things that might turn you off to what you're doing. But yeah, keep those auditions going for this next week coming up. Don't be afraid. Imposter syndrome is hard. We all know. We've talked about it here before. Find your support group. Find your inner space to try to get over it. If not, talk to somebody. If you feel that you're having any particular mental issues, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Make sure to talk to particular authorities and people that are professionals in that particular one.
Definitely.
Thank you, Burnham. This is a good episode.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, we've got everything settled. We're gonna figure out I don't think we're gonna do the time yet, because that's gonna be a hard one. So we're gonna have to really look for it. So Let's see if we can talk about topics. If anybody has a topic that you would like us to talk about, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. If you have an audition for us to listen to and give constructive feedback, we're not mean.
Yes.
Don't be afraid. No. We hear it for ourselves. So please, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. So on behalf of Renara Hawke, PrincessPashley, Eldurrino, and myself, keep those auditions going. Hopefully we will see you next week. I'm waiting for this music and I'm still really bad at timing it, so we're almost there. Until then, keep them going. It's end tape. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.